Hi, welcome to the Carnivore Stories podcast with me, Alyssa Grubner. The carnivore way of eating completely transformed my life, and it's stories just like the ones you'll hear on this podcast that kept me going every step of the way. I hope you're ready to hear an inspirational carnivore story. I know I am, but first, let me tell you about the Meat-tastic t-shirts I have for sale on my spring store. It's a great opportunity for you to become a walking billboard if that's what you're into. And it's a great opportunity for you to support your new favorite podcast. You can find a link to the spring store in my bio on Instagram at Meat, M-E-A-T, Mrs. M-R-S, Grubs, G-R-U-B-S. I'll also put a link to the store in this video's description on YouTube. So check it out and get some carnivore swag. Welcome to episode 23 of the Carnivore Stories podcast. Today I have with me Aaron Barboza. He's 42 years old, living in Central Texas. He's a personal trainer, licensed massage therapist, and x-ray tech. And you can connect with Aaron on Instagram at barboza.aaron. Thank you so much for meeting with me today, taking the time out to your day and getting on here talking about health.
You bet. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I like to jump right into it. Can you give us all some background about your lifestyle before coming to the way you live now, maybe some of the issues you were dealing with?
Okay. So I want to say for me, it started probably when I first became a personal trainer. I was probably in my early 20s. And what I was doing was eating the diet plans that I was given, as a personal trainer, or the nutrition plans. And around 2010, I started having stomach problems that got really bad. And I'll go and see a doc. I get diagnosed with ankylosing, or first with lymphocytic colitis. And no matter what I ate, I just felt horrible. And I was getting a wide variation of grains. I was doing a lot of vegetables. My mom was an herbalist, so she advocated a lot of eat more vegetables. This is going to be good for your diet. And so I did. And the whole time I just suffered. And in 2016, I found out I was diagnosed with ankylosing spondylitis, which is inflammatory arthritis of the spine. And it just got bad from there. And I want to say around 2019, I started doing keto. And while I was on that keto journey, I was starting to feel a little bit better. And but I was still doing a lot of the plants and vegetables still. So when I totally got off of vegetables, and that was about 2 years ago, I've been carnivore for about that long now, night and day difference. Like my stomach's been doing better. My rheumatologist that I see now is just amazed. She's just like, okay, your blood labs are doing better than what they were doing in 2020. So what are you doing what are you doing now that's different? So I explained to her that, what I was doing. And she says, well, you have the best blood labs out of all the patients I've seen in the last 2 months. And they're better than what they were in 2020. So yeah, it's making things pristine, or it's just helping with, we can't advocate it, but just keep doing what you're doing, I guess. And I don't know, it's been better for me since. But yeah.
That's awesome. So where did you first hear about carnivore?
My wife, actually. So the family was doing keto in 2019. And then around that time frame, my wife's like, she pulls me to the side and she pulls my son to the side and says, y'all should really look into this. And I thought, no way, I'm not going to just eat meat all the time. That's not sustainable. I can't be doing that. And I thought, and I was thinking, as a personal trainer, you got to have a variety of all these things. And I guess, yeah, so it was really my wife.
Oh, good wife. Good on her. So you you're like, honey, this sounds crazy, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. What did that look like for you? I mean, I guess you were keto, so it was probably just, was it removing the rest of those vegetables?
Yeah, I would say, well, it's just when I started eliminating all the vegetables, things started getting better. These high
Yeah.
fiber, like we were doing a lot of like of the cabbages, like the Brussels sprouts, the cabbage, and I would just eat those, and I would still have problems. And I thought maybe I should just start by cutting out, these vegetables, and I cut out
Hmm.
broccoli, I cut out, yeah, Brussels sprouts, and just started feeling better.
Um, did you have any issues adapting? So I know you were already keto, maybe you went through keto flu already, but was there a big change going carnivore?
Actually, I was just following some of the other doctors that do, keto and carnivore, and you could say I went from keto to ketovore, and then went to carnivore, and I think that
Yeah.
transition helped me out a lot. Just uh,
Hmm.
cutting out sweets too, because when I cut out sugar and grains and processed sugars, I was doing xylitol, erythritol, birch bark, monk fruit, stevia, all the keto or the other other sweeteners too. And now when I cut those out too, my stomach got better also.
Okay. Um, and so the family was doing keto in 2019, you said, right?
Mhm.
Did anyone else try out carnivore with you, or were you
Uh,
the lone wolf?
no, it's actually my teenagers do like it as well. So they're, I'll have to show you
Okay.
her Instagram. But yeah, my daughter had two pieces of raw heart that were just small pieces after her workout yesterday, and then she had some sausage, some eggs, and bacon for breakfast. And every now and then, like since we have a baby too, we'll do a little bit of fruit. Well, they'll do a little bit of fruit, and then they'll eat it too. Just because it's there.
Yeah.
It's hard to. It's I guess it's hard for them,
Okay.
but
And that baby girl, she is so precious. I see you walking her around, you're grounding, you're transferring the electrons to her. She is so precious. Is that your daughter?
that is.
Oh, wow.
She's
That is so awesome. I love babies. Okay.
yeah.
This is a little bit off topic, but
It's okay.
so you have teenagers, and then do you have any children in the middle, or is there that gap, that big gap between kids?
Yeah, the gap is there. My son's 19,
Okay.
my daughter's 16, and then the baby, she's 13 months.
Oh,
Going on.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's my husband. When we were graduating high school, his mom just gave birth to a baby. So I've got a 10-year-old niece, or not
Mhm.
niece. She's my sister-in-law. I often group her in with the nieces and nephews, that she's my sister-in-law. Um, but that, uh, if you don't mind me asking, what made you decide to have more children after all that time?
We actually call this I'm calling it our miracle baby. We knew that
Yeah.
when my wife, after our 16-year-old, her health got pretty bad, and she developed Hashimoto's thyroid condition. Her A1C was getting in the diabetic range, and she just felt horrible all the time. And then when we did keto in 2019, it just made everything regulate, and she went back into reproductive mode, and then we had a baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my
So,
goodness. Hallelujah. That is a miracle. Well, so I have two. My daughter, she's 8, and my son he just turned 5. And so after my son, I mean, my health was like in the dumpster, like in the landfill. And so it was in pregnancy, really made my health so much worse. Looking back, it's because I didn't eat meat my entire pregnancy, and I spent the entire pregnancy indoors. And so that probably made me really sick. Um, and so me and my husband really felt like if I had another baby, it would kill me. It could possibly actually kill me. And so he got
wow.
a vasectomy, because we were like, we really shouldn't have kids.
And this is the biggest regret. I mean, at the time it seemed like the best idea, but now that I'm healthy, we're both like, man, we would love to have more children. So our miracle would be a step ahead of yours, but we've got fingers crossed that maybe all the meat he's eating, his vas deferens will grow back and we'll have a miracle baby too.
Okay. Yeah.
You're just like,
Cool.
okay. But you know what? Stranger things have happened, have they not?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, back to you. I'm sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're good.
Um, all right. So what all do you eat? What all do you include in your diet?
Okay. So, my wife she calculated my macros on an app, and because I've been doing, like, as a personal trainer, I was thinking protein, protein, protein. I was doing chicken, fish, but I wasn't getting much fat, hardly any fat. So
Yeah.
um, this morning or what I do is basically 6 tablespoons of butter in my scrambled eggs, and I do 6 scrambled eggs. If it's a lot, and I don't feel like eating it all in one setting, I'll spread it out over the course of the day. And then my goal is also to eat about maybe 2 pounds of meat a day. So whether it's ground bison, ground lamb, ground beef, grass-fed beef, I try to find whatever ruminants I can, and try to do that with as much as, well, just with the eggs. I mean, that's the only dairy I'm getting, and butter. Those are the only two that I'm pretty much consuming right now, and just drinking plenty of water, electrolytes. I'm a sucker for those Topo Chicos. Those are good. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I've
Yep.
been buying the mineral waters, but that's about it. What are your thoughts on alkaline
Yeah.
water?
I used to be all into the alkaline water because of, what they're saying, you want to alkalinize your body. But something that I learned is that the alkaline water can actually reduce the acidity of your stomach. And that can make it harder for you to digest fat and protein.
Mm.
And so I'm like, get all the alkaline water away from me, because I've had issues coming to carnivore, adjusting to digesting meat and fat, and I'm pretty sure it's because I had a low stomach acid, because I was drinking a lot of alkaline water and I was adding like baking soda to my water a lot of times
Mm.
because of the alkalinizing effects. And down the line, I've learned, well, that can reduce your stomach acid also. Um, so I stay away from it, and I try to tell people, maybe rethink this. Or, I mean, uh, another thing is, I feel like a lot of people say a lot of things in this carnivore space. So I feel like if someone out there is listening and they hear me saying this about alkaline water, look into it for yourself and experiment on yourself, because I could be completely wrong. 5 years from now, I could be saying, oh, I wish I would have drank all this alkaline water.
No, I've been seeing it around, so I don't know too much about it. But
Okay.
yeah, and I've been doing more just acidic. I've been like apple cider vinegar and water.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll put a
Yeah.
little bit of salt in there, along with maybe half a squeezed lemon juice in there, and then
Okay.
I just water that down, and yeah, and that's, I mean, that keeps the heartburn away for me, which I didn't tell you about.
Yeah.
I had bad heartburn before I made the changes to my
Okay.
diet, like just acid reflux, getting
Yeah.
up in the middle of the night, feeling it, and then shoveling Tums in my mouth and going back to bed. And that just wasn't
Right.
doing it. And taking Nexiums too, because I'd have to keep that heartburn at
Yeah.
bay. Not anymore.
Yeah. And that's something that, I learned too, that heartburn is usually from low stomach acid, not the stomach acid being too high or, too acidic. It's the opposite. And so a lot of times people with heartburn will benefit from their the stomach pH becoming more acidic.
Mm. Okay.
Um, you mentioned the Topo Chicos, and everyone in my household, we are so hooked on them. My kids, they just know sparkling water as Topo Chico, so it doesn't matter, what container it's in. They're like, I want some Topo Chico. It can be a LaCroix or San Pellegrino or something. They're like, we want Topo Chico. But I think it was over the summer, all of a sudden they started getting hard to find in our area. Was that something you experienced, that they weren't available?
Yeah, there's some stores that have them and some stores that don't. With being in Central Texas, I think HEBs are pretty known out here. And what I find over there are the 1877s, which are mineral waters also, and they're close enough. So, yeah, or they're about the same. They're about the same thing, really. But yeah.
Okay.
So we can't find
I never
topos.
tried those.
Okay. Are there many HEBs where you're at?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Okay.
That's a gas station?
No,
Or
it's a
grocery store?
It's a grocery store. It's a grocery store.
Okay.
They have like some bigger ones, and they have some that are a little bit smaller. But the ones in Central Texas, I like going to because that's where I can find more of the meats that I'm looking for, and I can find organs there too. Then again, I like going to Whole Foods when I go to Dallas Central, or when I go up more north, because I still have clients out that way that I see. And when I'm seeing a client out there, I'll run to either Sprouts or Whole Foods and see what kind of organs I can get. Bone marrow.
Okay. All right. So you're including some organs and bone marrow in your diet.
I am, yes. Desiccated.
Okay. What's your experience been like with those? Like,
it's been pretty good. First, I didn't want to do anything raw at first, so I was always, cooking everything and making sure that it was the right color before I ate it. And I was asked questions. Aren't you worried about like it being bad or something? You can get sick. I'm like, well, I checked the expiration dates. They look good. They put it on the shelves. So, I started sampling a little bit of raw liver here and there, but it was definitely a texture difference. It was a big taste difference. And then if I can't stomach it, then I'll just get the desiccated organs, either through the companies that or my wife was ordering them, and then I started ordering my own.
Yeah. Yeah, I every once in a while I'll get a craving for liver, and
really,
and I'll have a little bit of raw liver. I keep it in the freezer, like kind of in cubes, and every once in a while something's going on and my body's like, yeah, we really need some of that. And it sounds good, but any other time it doesn't sound good. It doesn't taste good. So I definitely just wait for the craving. Can you talk about some of the other instruments you've used on your healing journey? Like maybe red light therapy or grounding?
Oh, okay. So red light therapy was I just hopped on Amazon and I was just looking at their red lights, and I did a little research on just talking to other estheticians, because I've also worked in a spa setting being a massage therapist, and some of them were using the machines that have red light therapy. And I thought, well, let me just see about this. And I heard of massage therapists that massage their clients with a red light therapy lamp on. So I thought, okay, this is something I need to research. I need to get into. If it's in my job, like if it's in that area, I'm going to go look into it. So got on Amazon and I just ordered just what was standard for me at the time. I ordered 2 of the lamps, and then just been doing like 20 minutes or so. And I prefer the sunlight though, but and then every now and then I'll get into a tanning bed and then do the red light too, because like I didn't get a chance to tell you this either, but around 2017 I had blood labs done and I found out my vitamin D was low, like 17 in numbers. And I thought, like, well, go figure, I'm in dark rooms all day massaging, or I'm indoors, I'm hardly ever getting out in the sun. So when I started when I started keto and started getting out in the sun more, I think my numbers got up to like 85 or so. And then my rheumatologist was telling me, well, careful, I don't want you getting like around 90 or 100, then you'll start having problems with your joints. And I'm like, well, I I think, well, I just thought, well, I'll just maintain where I'm at. I just won't go over 100, but keep it like that. But
Yeah.
come to find out, I believe vitamin D changes throughout the day. I'm still learning more about vitamin D. So, but to be as low as it was then, you know, with immunity and with, you know, I'm getting that better with my immunity, and yeah, just improving that vitamin D.
Yeah, that is so awesome. I mean, because so many people are deficient in that in America and probably all over the world. And I know it's involved in so many processes in our body that if that vitamin D is low, you know, you're not going to be doing so well. I remember what I was going to ask you now. I saw that you were reading The Salt Fix.
Okay. By
Yeah,
Dr. James Dean Clantonio, and yeah.
yeah. So have you gotten much into that yet?
Just reading, just as far as like, gosh, really just thinking about like hydration too, because I also have his other book, the Immunity Fix. And before my workout, I'll do like I'll do the Redmond's or the Relight, and then sometimes I'll take like a half a teaspoon of the salt and mix it in the water and drink it. And they have
Mhm.
hot saunas and wet saunas there too, so I want to replenish what I, you know, when I use. So, and actually, and then I also swim, and when I'm getting out of the pool, I drink more of. I try to replenish what I can.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Have you noticed any differences adding in more salt?
I notice if I don't get enough salt, I get headaches, or
Okay.
I just feel like dehydrated, or I feel like something's off for sure.
Okay.
There was a time where I did get off of salt for almost like, I don't know, like almost 2 days. And I mean, I was doing the salt that was in my food, but I just wasn't doing the additional that
Mhm.
was in my electrolytes. And I noticed a change, like a difference with that. So I thought, no. Then I'll tell my wife, hey, I'm not feeling so good. She goes, did you have salt? I'm like, thank you.
Mm.
So yeah. So I
Yeah.
guess if I go too long, I'll take half a teaspoon, put it under my tongue, let it sit there for about 20 seconds,
Okay.
and then just drink it with water. And even before I do a massage too, if I feel like I'm not feeling well, then I'll just do salt before that massage. Or that's what, yeah, because you know it's pretty physical what we do in body work.
Mhm.
We're moving extremities sometimes, or just stretching them too. And yeah, if we're doing 8 in a day, you know, it's a lot of work. It's physical for sure.
Yeah. And I would imagine with the ankylosing spondylitis, because you would be, you know, kind of leaning over these tables. Was that something that was getting in the way of you doing your job the way you wanted to?
It was in 2017. It was getting pretty bad, where I had to use a walking stick to help me get out of bed in the mornings, and
Wow.
it took me about an hour or so to get mobile and start moving and getting ready around the house. And when I started changing, you know, my diet, but before the diet, it was 2018 is when I started my biologic med. And when I was doing that, I felt different and started feeling better, started gaining weight, because that's one of the results with,
Mhm.
yeah, these medications. And 2020 is when I started getting more lean and started losing some weight. I think I got up to like 167, 170. And now I'm like back to 150. I'm back to what I weighed when I was in my 20s, when I was personal
Okay.
training. And but yeah, just the yeah. Um,
Okay. So you've experienced some weight loss then on on the
oh,
diet.
I have. I think with the biologic med, it was making me gain a little bit, but then when I was doing
Mhm.
ketovore, carnivore, that was like helping me lose the weight and maintain the weight where I should.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in January, I actually stopped taking that biomed. It was just one of the questions I was asked by my rheumatologist is like, how are your joints? And I would just think, okay, well, I'm not getting worse and I'm not getting better. I'm just neutral. And I think if I just keep eating the way I am and taking the desiccated organs and the other those type of supplements and salt, and I think I'm just going to do better. And thank goodness I haven't had another injection since January, but I'm just going to see how it goes. And then why take something when I feel like I don't need?
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah. So eating this way and the lifestyle change has definitely helped that condition then.
I believe it.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling it.
And you mentioned another, I think you'll have to help me with the name.
Lymphocytic colitis.
Yeah. Lymphocytic colitis. Okay. Have you noticed any improvements in that area?
I'm no longer taking Acical, which was a med for that. And then I probably didn't I stopped seeing a GI back in 2010. But then when I was seeing the rheumatologist, they said, hey, it's a win-win. This can treat colitis and it can treat AS. And I thought, well, I mean, maybe it's okay for me to take. And so I did. And yeah, stomach wise, like if I eat something that I shouldn't eat, like if I go and eat chocolate or if I do black coffee with nothing in it, yeah, I'm going to have an upset stomach because it's just so acidic. It just, yeah, it wreaks just havoc on the colitis.
Yeah. Okay. So, but you can do coffee with cream then?
I think my last cup was probably around March. I was on it for about, well, I was actually a coffee drinker for 2 decades, because I'd get up and go to the gym and I felt like I needed it. And then I got off of it for 6 months. And then when it started cooling off outside, getting colder, I wanted something hot to drink. And my wife was telling me you should do bone broths and all the broths. And so I was kind of doing coffee and that at the same time too. And then I got off coffee again. So
yeah. Yeah. See, your wife, she knows what the deal is. She knows. You need her. Yeah. I'm trying to tell my husband, like, wives know everything. Just listen to us the first time and suffer less.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, have there been any other benefits you want to talk about or anything unexpected that that has really improved since changing your lifestyle, changing your diet?
I would say mood has gotten better. I do feel less anxious too. Whereas before, caffeine and all those other sugars and carbohydrates would really make me off edge and jittery. But can't think of anything else right now. That's about it.
Yeah, I do remember seeing one of your posts that you had experienced some improvements in your blood pressure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe so. I posted a couple of posts on that. I would say I've always had low blood pressure now that I can think about it, but I think I probably got to like 120, 125, 127. But like now it's like, I don't know, like 110, 105 over, over 72. But yeah, I guess I'll just keep posting that because I like to kind of see where my numbers are, and I use Instagram or my Facebooks to reflect on.
Okay.
Keeps track of it and all.
Yeah. Yeah, but that I mean, even though it was never like dangerously high, that is something that is worth noting that it did lower changing your diet, because there's a lot of people coming to this way of eating that's a big issue for them. I know that was my big thing, blood pressure. So when I first start learning about carnivore, I want to know about, all right, well, is this really helping people's blood pressure? Is this making a difference? And so I think a lot of people would care to know about that.
Yeah.
And so you've had the support of your immediate family doing keto and then carnivore. Have you had any pushback from any extended family or any friends, like at any social gatherings or anything like that?
Yeah, I have. But I just kind of listen to what they say and kind of remember what it was doing to me. And I thought, well, I think what I'm doing is working for me. So I'm just going to keep on doing what's good for me. But, but yeah, friends and family, they just given me, just those. I mean, they kind of eat what they eat, and you should try some of this. And it's something that I shouldn't have. And I'm like, I think I'll pass. I'm good.
Yeah. 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 I feel like when I was vegan, vegetarian, if someone said something about my diet, I would get really defensive. And I feel like it was kind of like it was because it wasn't working for me anyways. But I feel like now I'm just like, maybe it's a zero carbs in, and I'm just like, yeah, well, it's not for everybody. But it's like I know how much this has changed my life and what it's actually doing for me, that I can't really be bothered by anything negative anybody has to say about it. And then like social situations, I know what that's like. Someone like, here, try this, they're putting spoons in your face, and I'm really adamant, like, yeah, no, I don't. I'll come out and say it, like, I don't eat seed oils, I don't eat vegetables, and I'm not going to eat that.
Yeah. Yeah. One time,
Uh,
someone did offer me some, they cooked was it, I think it was pork belly, and they had all these meats, and I didn't know what kind of rubs they used. So I just kind of like asked, oh, so what did you cook? What did you cook it with? They're like, oh, well, we used sugar and we used like molasses and we used all this other stuff. I was like, okay. Or
yeah,
I
yeah.
went to lunch with some friends too, and then we went to a barbecue place, and so I'm just asking them at the counter, like, okay, what meats do y'all have that have no rubs? And oh, well, the turkey has no rub, and okay, I'll have that.
Hmm. Yeah. Yep. Um, all right. Well, I saw this really interesting picture on your Instagram the other day. It might have been today, but you had on toe spreaders.
Oh
It
yeah.
it was, yeah. What kind of benefits can you expect to gain from a device like that? Because it looks like it would feel really good. Because I try to get my husband to massage my feet and put his fingers in between my toes like that, but I know that's weird and gross, so he won't do that. But that looked like something cool I'd like to have. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, so I just got them in the mail yesterday, and optimistically, I wore them to bed last night because I wanted to see, like, um, from all the years of wearing shoes, tennis shoes, tight socks. I mean, my toes were just going
Yeah.
in and in, and
Hmm.
kind of like my daughter is also an inspiration for me for this too. She likes to go places barefoot, and she's into grounding, and I think she might have mentioned it too, like kind of pointed it out too to me. So, and then I see more ads on Instagram about it, and I thought, talking to the physical therapist I used to work with, he was telling me get those pedicure pads, those cushioned ones, and sleep with those on, and
Hmm.
or probably putting cotton balls in between my toes, while I'm wearing shoes, and that'll start helping me get more space between my toes. But when I saw the toe spreaders, I went ahead and ordered them, and been wearing them. I can probably wear them for about like maybe 2 to 3 hours, and then I'll have to take them off and put on my Vibrams, which are the toeless, or basically they're toe shoes basically, and those feel comfortable for me now. But before, I mean, I couldn't even wear those. Couldn't even wear the pads, the pedicure pads, because those would start putting pressure on the nerves and the
Hmm.
joints, and I'd have to take them off. I'd wake up in the middle of the night taking them off. But I'm going to go to yoga tomorrow, and I'm going to wear them in yoga class to really focus on, the stretches there that require the toes and the feet to spread out. And
Yeah.
because they're very soft. It's got a soft texture to it. And yeah, it's pretty flexible.
Yeah. Yeah, they are funky looking, but I was like, that now that looks like something I need in my life. Um, and then I wanted to ask you, you're a swimmer. How long have you been swimming?
Wow. So I got into swimming like when I was 7 years old. My mother put me and my older brother in a gym. And even though I couldn't work, you had to be 14 to lift weights and all. And me and my brother are 7 years apart. So he's older. He was 14. I was 7. So I'd go to karate, and I would ask adults that were in the pool, because you had one of the pool rules is that you had to have an adult watch you while you're in the pool at all times. So didn't not knowing how to swim, I just taught myself. And prior to that, my mom sent me to swim lessons, and I just couldn't get it. I mean, I was with instructors, and at that time I was a lot younger too. But when I started going to the gym with my brother, I was getting in the pool with him, and I was getting in the pool with, just other people and watching them swim. It just came natural. And I was doggy paddling, and then I was able to start turning my head and breathing right in the pool. And then when I went to college in 2001, they had an intermediate swimming class there, and this is a community college in Dallas. And I started learning from the triathletes that were swimming there, and I thought, okay, so there's more strokes than just doggy paddling. So I really got into it when I was like in my early 20s. And then when I started getting the diagnosis with, ankylosing spondylitis, and that started coming up, and I thought, my rheumatologist said, I want you in the pool. And I thought, well, okay, I've worked out in the pool, so I guess I'm going to go back to the water. And what's great about my job is that they sent me through some of the water certification classes that they had at Baylor in Dallas. And they would come down from California, or they'd come from Florida, from Naples, Florida, and they would host these conferences in the pool. So I started doing like upper body workouts, vertical exercises, holding the hand paddles, exercises with the noodles, and it just became a good workout for me. I want to say probably the last month now, I've been doing more weights and getting out on land and lifting weights, which does make me a little more sore. So I'm thinking, okay, I need variety. I need to probably half and half, maybe pull, half and half weights, and mix it up that
Mhm.
way. But yeah, I love swimming.
Yeah, it looks like fun. It looks like fun. You've got some of these stories that are really cool. You got the perfect music, and you're just swimming through the water. And I'm like, man, I wish I could swim like that. I I can swim, but I'm either a doggy paddler or I guess I'll move my arms. So I don't feel like it's proper. I feel like I'm just doing it to get to the other side. And you know what? It's hard work. I mean, I lift
Mm.
really heavy weights 5 days a week, but I'll get in the pool and try to do a couple of laps at my grandfather's pool, and it's not Olympic, but I mean, I'm like winded, and I really feel like my body's working hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. I have one last question to ask you. Um, what advice would you give to someone just starting out with a carnivore way of eating, or someone who was in your position all those years ago, just getting those diagnoses? I think that's
Mhm.
plural.
I would say for them to just to be patient with themselves, because there were times that I had cheats, and then I thought, well, I shouldn't have ate that. I mean, just be patient with that part of it. Research more, find out what works good for them. Um, yeah, just to get into some groups too that are also carnivorous or they're in the carnivore page, and kind of just get tips and ideas from them too. That's helpful as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that sense of community really is strong, so you're not feeling like you're doing this all alone, like you're the only person in the world
Yeah.
going through these things. Well, Erin, this has been an absolutely fantastic interview. Again, thank you so much for taking the time out your day to meet with me and talk about your health journey.
You're absolutely welcome. Thanks for having me.
That's it for today. Until next time, stay meaty, stay strong, and stay inspired. Do you have a carnivore story to tell? Connect with me on Instagram at meat, MEAT, Mrs. MRS Grubs, GRUBS. I would love to interview you, and the world needs to hear your story and how meat heals. Thanks so much for watching and all your support. Bye-bye till next time.